Greetings, viewers. Thanks for joining me for another segment on the mini truck. I've been doing some cleaning and stuff. I just kind of spare you a lot of that stuff. I'm going to show you what I'm doing under the hood here while I still don't have any of the things I need. I got a little list here, plug wires, points. I put on their points, rotor cap plugs, fuel filters, etc., oil, fuel filter, some fuel treatment, things like that. Now, yeah, I cleaned those interior pieces that were gross. I took those out to the pressure washer. I went to pull the plugs off of here, or the plug wires off, and they just fell apart. That's why I put them on the list. I would like to try and get it all running with stuff that was on it, I thought, but you know, I thought it's going to need them anyway. Might as well just buy it. Then when I get the carb changed and everything else, it'll just be ready to roll. I went to pull the plugs. They are pretty nasty, clearly worn out. So they're wet because I sprayed, some penetrating oil around them because I didn't know how they were going to come out after having sat for so long. They're pretty wore out. I took the rotor cap, or the distributor cap and rotor bug off. The cap's got the usual corrosion. The rotor bug's pretty corroded, but it could be cleaned up. But I'm just going to get new and put it all on there at once. And now I wanted to show you something I have not seen. Another interesting thing I just found out about this truck. All right, see here in the distributor where the points should go? Look how green the antifreeze is on that hose that was cut off. I just see that puking up over here, so I need to raise that up just a hair. I need to cap that hose off before I try to start it. That would be a giant mess. Let me grab my pick and take that little plastic cap off for you. Okay, now I hope you can see that is a freaking Denso part, a Nippon Denso part. This little plastic cover, that's got an electronic ignition module on it. I've never seen that before. I'm guessing that's from the factory. I don't know. Again, that's another thing. If you know, I'd like to know, because it sure has a factory plug and all that good stuff on it. Interesting to me. Okay? I'm finding this very interesting. Now, granted, I don't deal with a lot of vehicles that had point type ignitions or this old anymore, but I think that is super cool. I'm still going to replace the rotor bug and the distributor cap and the plugs and the wires. I want to see if I can get this fuel pump to pump. I checked the fuel tank. It had very little rust, very little fuel in it, and the fuel that was in it I dipped into a rag and subjected it to flame, and it burst into flames clearly. Still flammable, 20-year-old gasoline. Now, I'm going to fill the tank with fresh. I'm going to put some fuel treatment in. I'm going to put some injector cleaner in. If this pump fails, I got a clacker I can hook up. So when it comes run day, we're going to make this run. I guarantee that. Yeah, so the plug's definitely worn. These parts worn. This part's worn. Oil definitely needs changed. I need to fulfill all of the, there went the distributor cap and rotor on the floor. I need to fulfill my list here. I'm going to put a small breather on this port on the valve cover. My air cleaner is rusted in two from mouse piss, so I'm going to have to do something about that. Now, I'll scratch points off of the list, but I'm going to get plug wires, rotor cap, plugs, fuel filters in plural, because I'm going to try and flush that tank. I know that's probably not the way I should do it. I can always change it if it turns out to be real terrible, but I got a good look in that tank. And again, I'm sorry I don't always show you every little thing I do. I just don't think I'm entertaining enough to keep your attention when I'm investigating the fuel tank situation. So if you want to see more of that, comment and tell me you'd like to see every little bit. I think you get tired of hearing me ramble. Fuel treatment. I've already put a bottle of injector cleaner and 5 gallons in, and some Stay-Bil that is supposed to dry fuel. I'm going to get an oil filter and some oil. Those are little things, but I'm going to get those, and I'm going to change all that stuff before I do the will it start thing. I know everybody does a will it start thing with the old pieces and stuff, and that's great. Sometimes I like watching those too. I don't want to do that. I want to have everything on there right. I want fresh oil in there. I'm going to pull all the plugs out. I'm going to spray some penetrating oil in the cylinders, even though the engine's not stuck. It cranks over. Yeah, I'll show you something else here in a minute on that. It's weird that this header has the emission stuff hooked up, but then it's pinched off back here. That's me crinkling fenders. There are several vacuum lines hooked up to this carburetor going to VSVs or VSSs over here, vacuum sensing module things for emissions. I bet you won't see a lot of that after the new carburetor goes on. And speaking of a new carburetor, I told you eBay had them. The Toyota 505, which is what this is, 505 with a round plug. I got me one. Everything going off perfectly as planned. I got me one of them eBay Toyota 505 carburetors. Now they have two options, a round plug or square plug. Mine is clearly a round plug on there. I got the round plug unit. It arrived nice, packaged nice. Got all the vacuum lines. Looks like a nifty piece. Here's that fuel pump I ordered and some line. I got some hoses, or some hose clamps and some hose if I need it. But I got that new carburetor and I'm pretty excited about that. So let the list continue to build, and when we do a will it run, it'll be a more funner will it runner, maybe. We'll see. And yeah, if you like all of the drama of trying to get the old parts to work, I kicked the ball for the dog, sorry. Yeah, I just, my show's different. Yeah, so I don't do all the same stuff everybody else does. That is still the nastiest freaking carburetor. I can see, I think, how it comes off. The bolts seem pretty easy to get to. I have that. That's not this episode. I need to move to the interior next. Now you can see this clutch line is still weeping. It isn't dripping, but again, I haven't pushed the clutch. I'm waiting on the next will it start. We'll have to push the clutch and stuff. I'm going to continue to pull them plugs out, lube up the cylinders just because. I'm not going to crank it over yet because still I don't know how much crap might be. I'm kicking the ball for the dog. That distributor's going flying across the floor. Yeah, I don't know how much of that stuff's in there. I don't want to suck it down. I'm not ready to pull that carburetor off yet. But here are some more things. See, I've been cleaning. I scrubbed on this cluster and got it nice and clean. I put all new bulbs in it. I am going to have to put the dash in, and I say have to because I don't want to dick around with trying to get this in a go, make it run type thing without the cluster hooked up. I need the bottom piece of the dash in to get the cluster hooked up. I don't have to, but I want to. So if I'm going to go in there, I'm going to do some more cleaning behind the scenes here. I'm going to save this video. And then I'm going to come back and show you as much of the interior put together as I can do in an effort to when I go to do the will it run. One, my cluster will be hooked up so I can get an idiot light going because it doesn't really have any gauges but the temperature. But it'll light up a oil light perhaps if something is wrong. I want that to be in there. There's my air cleaner that is was full of mouse nests and mouse piss and is rusted. Now, if I can save it, let me grab it. Okay, here's what it looks like. Now, again, this is what started the whole problem with the truck in the first place. Was the mice built a nest in here over winter. Apparently forgot to take it apart and check it. And next thing you know, it's sucking mouse nest in the carburetor and the truck won't run. The bottom of this breather is completely toast. If I can cut out enough of it that I can put an element in, or maybe I'll try to rebuild that if I can pressure wash it and there's anything left, perhaps buy a new one. I'd like to have the stock one. Anyway, the air cleaner I got is non-functional. And that's the way it is. So when I first get this going, it's probably going to be with no air cleaner on it, but that's okay with me. So when I come back, some more of this will be cleaned up, swept up. You think you got it all, and then you find that there's this little freaking pile of funk right there. Oswald and I are really looking forward to this project. I'll show you how to make a new clutch line to go over to the slave cylinder. Looks like, oh, that's where I sprayed all that stuff. Okay, I was going to say I didn't notice that wet before, but I sprayed stuff all around all of the plugs because I just didn't want them, if they were gaued up, I wanted them to get loose. And so I'm going to spray some stuff down those plug holes. I already said that. I'm going to stop here. You'll see the interior going in here in a minute. Oswald and I are going to have lunch and we'll be back. Could be the next day. You won't know. And another reason why I want to get all this cleaned up, of course, I'm going to try to get it started and stuff. This is all going to be in my way. I ain't figured out about that seat yet. I'm going to call on it, but we'll see. Now, some of the stuff he kind of ripped out. Some of it he took apart as gracefully as possible, and I'm appreciative for all of his efforts. If you're following along at home and you notice this wire harness for the AC and heat is missing because the boxes aren't there, so I got it. I just took it out. Your tin and your screw gun in here with a Phillips head on it are what you need for most all of this. And the first one I encounter is a 12. I hope the lighting and everything in here is okay for what I'm doing at the moment. I'll try to move you around. I got this sitting back in a corner back here. When I'm doing interior stuff, I always set my guns on the lowest setting. You can change that if necessary. All right, not too much scrounging so far. I only see a couple of wire things that are cut. One went to the air conditioning box. I'll have to find out what this one is right here. That went on the center stack. I bet I can figure it out though when I get over there, see what's missing on the dash. It'll probably tell me. I'm gonna go put the bolts in at the bottom on the other side, and then I can start getting this main plastic piece across there put in. Goes pretty quick from there. All right, I'm glad he kept those. I'm grateful, like I said, for every piece that he kept and was able to get apart proper. I'm finding pieces as I scrounge around all the rubber floor plugs and the back cab plugs and stuff. I found all those. It looks like I got some more of the screws I need. This piece go over the steering column top here and set down this screws to here, down here. That's what I'm going to do first, so I can start getting the idea of where I'm going. Make sure you get your cluster wires up on top. This has got my clutch start switch, which goes in this lower panel, and the dash light dimmer. I'm just going to run it down in its general direction here. Right, that one takes one with the larger washer on it. That one is a 10. You can stop and clean up and stuff before you start doing this. Like, would make a lot of sense. Alright, what am I up against here? Oh, I bet you that one's bent a little. There we go. There we go. First actual fastener in. Yay! Alright, that would go up into this spot. Oh, that one's broke off. But that's okay. We'll accept it like that for the moment. So I got one in here. I'm not putting that temperature control thing in yet. Yeah, I probably will before I put the glove box in. All right. I need a fastener over here. Get my gun. I'm going to put one in down here at the bottom, another one of the 10s that goes right through the plastic into the metal. The one that's broke off on the other side. But I can cure that. I ain't afraid. Up here, you get a fastener in there. Also a 10. If I run out of these because I'm putting them in the wrong place or something, I got plenty. Now I don't think that holds the dash pad on. I'm probably like, what? Right there in your face talking. But no. All right, good. Let's see here. There's one over here that has actually a nut that goes over the top. It's also a 10. It's another one up here. Hope you can see. You can't really see. Kind of self-explanatory. These would be times it would be really good to have like a cameraman or somebody like that, so I could do everything all at once. All right, now the cluster gets the speedo push up on the back. That's just like a push fit thing. All right, so the speedometer is just this little cable, fits up on this nub, of course, on the back here. Oh, I'm gonna put all my wires in first. Now these plugs will only fit one place, just like most every vehicle. But the order is the large white one all the way across. Then the littler white one. Oh, don't get it caught up like I got it. Down. Okay, then the little white one. You know, I think I can get that speedo in if this is fully mounted, since the rest of the dash isn't there. And then the blue one all the way over. And I did. Can you see what I'm doing? Where is it? I can't see it because the camera's in the way. Hey, use the camera like a surgeon. Like a surgeon. Hey. There we go. All right. That screws on. I got to put the speedo on. I'm going to do that from underneath. And then that has two screws that go through it to hold it on. And then that other dash piece will go on. So let me get up under here. Up under here. Where's it at? There it is. Okay, I'm going to pull some of that out. Okay, that actually worked. All right, let's give that one more shot now with some cable exposed. Oh, I'm on the wrong side. Hey, that did it. Shit. Pull a little bit of your Speedo cable this way so you can get it in the groove, you know, in its spot in the back first. Then you can just use the cable and push it up onto where it goes. All right. Get this cluster screwed in at the top. Sorry I'm in the way blocking, but this is really awkward. I need to set the camera up behind me or in the windshield area, I guess, but I think we'll just make do here with what we can. Well, this is just screws into the plastic. Will this one fit? Yeah. All right, now tighten them. And yeah, that one. All right, excellent. This piece here, now I'm omitting all of the ductwork, which may or may not be the best of ideas for the moment here. You know what? I will just take this all apart again when that time comes, because I don't know when that time will be. And right now I don't want to mess with that. Alright. That sets down and screws in here on the side. And then two up this way through the dash bezel into those flanges above the cluster. Alright. See if it's lining up. Not yet. Oh yeah, there we go. All right, there's one. They go in at an angle. Oh yeah, that one lined up real nice too. I love how simple these are. Okay. Now, I should have pushed that little clip back and I didn't. So I'm going to try and catch it and then push it all back together. And by golly, I think that worked. All right, that worked. Hey, and that is at an angle even. I'm an idiot. It's just been a long time since I've had one of these apart. Now, this is all independent. There's a screw that goes right there. Through here. And that's lined up. It didn't have a clutch start switch to begin with, but I wanted to add one. You can tell the plug had never been used. Now I can get this one plugged in down here. Maybe that's where that's supposed to go after all. All right, this goes up under the parking brake, which I'm anxious to try as well. I got underneath and pulled the bracket and it moved the cables towards the back wheels. And then I pulled this lever and it pulled the, yeah, but I only gave it like a little bit of pull because I definitely don't want to have to deal with a stuck wheel. Not a stuck wheel, a stuck wheel. A wheel, a wheel. All right, I need a Phillips over here in this bottom corner. Okay, so all those screws were just down here in the bottom underneath. There's several. That one's broke off. Looking at the next piece here, I'm seeing this flange that clearly bolted on underneath this piece now that I have it on. So I may just put some of these other pieces away now that the main meat and taters of the situation is here, and save the rest of those pieces for plastic fun later. Let's see, what else? Nothing else, I guess. Oh, I'll maybe put the steering wheel covers on here real quick if I can find the right screws for those. And then we'll flip the key, make sure everything's working, turn lights on, stuff like that. And then I'll wrap this one up. Yeah, kind of a lot in your way. So if this is edited up and choppy, that's why. Okay, dang, after all that, it really does look so much better already, more inviting. Definitely. Steering wheel still needs scrubbing. Yeah, I got to take a lot of it apart to put those other pieces on, but that's okay for right now. I might put my mirror up now. Might not. It's turned into an awfully hot, sweaty day out here, but I'm sure happy to have this much in. I can take the rest of this stuff out. I just have this in here. It's not in plans for use at the moment. Yeah, so other stuff, you might not get to see all that. I may just do that one day, or in little bits and pieces, but anyway, it's all up. I went ahead and hooked the battery up. Got a charge light when you turn the key to on. It's got the little push button thing, oops, there on the top that you have to push to get the key back off. Let's see if I got dash lights. Are they turned up? Hey, look at that. I got my dash lights. All right. Key on. Headlights, taillights, turn signals. Nice to see that working and lit up. And hopefully that oil light's working. I know it has a good bulb in it. It may be one of the things that just comes on when you crank the wheel, or crank the engine over. So that's off. That's awesome. I can't wait to get some more of it done. Thanks for joining me for this part. Man, it's really turned hot and sweaty. Hope I didn't mumble too awful much at you, and that you enjoyed this part of it. Now, I'm still just letting those cylinders soak. I'm going to go start gathering these things up here on the list, and hopefully the putting on the carburetor and the will it start and run part will be next. I did stuff some rags down into the holes where the spark plugs are out for the time being, and covered that open distributor up. Still looking for an air cleaner. Sure appreciate you joining me out here today. Oswald and Slim were helping, but they went away. If you like my show, please subscribe if you want to see more of my show in general. Mini truck stuff, Tundra stuff going on right now. Always something new coming and going from here anyway. But it's free, easy, and painless to like, subscribe, comment, click a bell if you want. If you don't, I appreciate you watching. Watch all the way through. I might say something witty or important throughout all my ramblings. You just never know. But I do super appreciate you joining me out here today. Have a super great day.